Welcome everybody. It's been a hot season 4. I'm Cuddles, community manager here at GenshinRanked, and I wanted to say hi and stop in on this very, very beautiful season finals for GenshinRanked season 4. Joining me on stage today, I have Johnny and Lemmy. Say hi, guys.
Hey guys.
Oh.
That was like a really amazing trailer. Definitely credits to Nano for putting that together in a very limited amount of time. I think that was a very, very cinematic project that you just did for us. Absolutely beautiful. And honestly, I think it encompasses a lot of the vibe that's been building up throughout the season. What do you guys say?
Bro,
Yeah.
I swear, when I saw the names of the teams going through, that hit so hard. It was such a cool trailer. Thanks a lot,
Yeah.
Nono, for doing it.
Big shout out to him. So, as the trailer shows, we do have 2 of our hottest teams in this last season competing today in the finals. It's going to be Pixel Dismissal versus Touchgrass together. And man, these 2 guys have been going at it. I think, Johnny, you've been definitely a lot in the VCs and in the game, so you can definitely attest to the performance that these guys are about to put out.
Yeah, TGT, they play a lot of casuals, and they always dominate the casuals. They are a very experienced team, and I'm so excited to see them in the finals.
Yeah, how was the season for you guys? Season 4, how'd that go for you?
We definitely got through Swiss stage kind of easily, but unfortunately in elimination bracket we got so destroyed by BLG. But overall, as a first season team, it was a very fun season, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely a beautiful moment. Lemmy, what else would you like to add?
Well, you were talking about how our teams performed in the season. My team, we formed a really casual team, and we were fortunate enough to make it through playoffs. Like you just saw in the epic trailer, TSS. Shout out to my wonderful teammates. And yeah, without further ado, let's get this game started. Let's head over to the rules and explain you how this will go. Johnny, would you like to start us off?
Yeah, of course. GenshinRanked is a PvP boss rush mode where 2 teams of 3 compete to see who can clear a certain boss list the fastest. The mode is based around a draft system where both teams go back and forth between picks and bans for both bosses and characters. As we are in the elimination stage, the format's a little bit different, working around a BO2. So both teams get to play as Team 1 and Team 2 alternatively for 6 boss games, switching teams at halftime. Each team has their advantages. Team 1 gets both first pick in draft and clears the bosses first, and in turn Team 2 gets the information about how Team 1's run went, which could prove integral to the team's strategies. At the end of the 2 matches, if the score is equal for both teams, the match will go into overtime from the characters picked in either draft and compete for a final time against Eon Blight Drake, and the winning team will take the match. So now I think it's time to talk about the teams that are playing today. Lemmy, do you want to start us off?
Alright, so let's talk about our first team for this match, Touchgrass Together TGT. They are a really famous team here in the GenshinRanked community. They have been playing for 2 seasons already in the past. They have started in season 2, and this is their first time here in the finals. So let's talk about their captain Day. He is a really regular member in the server. He has been in all of these casual matches, both being a player and being our incredible ref. So he likes to play with Arlecchino, as you can see, with 84% win rate. Definitely a fearsome character here. Next up, we have Foster. Also another regular member of the server. He is well known for his Hu Tao and Walani builds, as he finesses with these two characters, and the opposing team Pixel definitely have to watch out for that. Next up, Mina. She is mostly a support player, but she also has a lot of good artifacts, so a lot of her characters are really underrated, and I can see that they will bring out some of her niche characters and see them shine here. She is here with Nahida with 60% win rate. And rounding off the team is Hope. She is the newest member for TGT, and she is a Veresa main. You can see her with a 100% win rate, and it's definitely a breath of fresh air to the team. And this team is definitely a well-knit team, and I can't wait to see what they have in store in this match. So let's move on to Pixel. Shadows, do you want to introduce him?
Yeah, and TGT's opposition today is going to be Pixel Dismissal, which is a team about their same age. You know, they also were kind of from Season 2 and completely new to the game, but their little name comes from the fact that the Pixels, aka the bosses, are either going to dismiss them or they're going to dismiss the Pixels.
What? Not funny?
So a little bit of wordplay right there. But they're most especially known for like those Hydro teams that they play. Like Babylon has a really strong Novelette that we probably might be able to see throughout the match, throughout the day. So there's that to look forward to. They are big into playing like a lot of straight checks. This team really loves DPS. They run a lot of that Satequina, experimental field generator, like Asimon. They really like these small squishy bosses, and their roster definitely reflects that for sure. Also, like, to mention here, like Eliza, a very optimized Nahida for being on field, and also has like the perfect support account. Has pretty much every single support that you could ask for. And I myself, like as a support main, I'd love to have that. But it's again something that really, really solidifies his team. They have a lot of good role players. If Eliza's the support, you got Kiki also playing some DPS. Kiki and Putin, the Hu Tao and the Ganyu coming out, as well as the C2 Lini and Milani. Like, these are definitely some expensive characters to be looking for in draft. They're going to probably be ban priorities, we're probably looking towards seeing a lot of their major DPS choices knocked out, especially considering how confident they are when it comes to these checks. The nice thing about Pixel Dismissal, just like Touchgrass together, is that they have a few members who are very regular in the casual queue. We see them quite a bit here in the ranked community, so I'm not entirely surprised if they have that micro experience, they have that familiarity with a lot of these bosses. And, having been since Season 2, right, Pixel has been able to move from 4th place, and now here they're at the finals. After playing through 3 whole seasons, they're finally here. And it's not like their competition's easy either. Like, I think it's going to be a pretty fun match to watch. I'm going to go down into a little bit more of a breakdown with each of the players. Eliza, signature for that, Nahida and Kazuha. Been here since Season 2 and honestly played since 2.1. So actually one of the more like relatively new Genshin players. But she still manages to do a lot of speedrunning on Spiral Abyss just for the love of the game. Mainly, notably, Kaching, Al-Haytham, and the script here says Dia speedrunning. I don't know if you can put those 2 words in the same sentence, but anyways, she's a very active community member here and also loves the casual queue, and just like me, very passionate for being the support bot. She also occasionally will stall due to taking a break for tea or the restroom, so there's that. But again, she's very, very proud to be here and very happy to have made it even onto the stage here in the finals with this team. Moving on, we got Kiki, an Arlecchino signature player, and having played since Season 2, also having played Genshin since January 2021. She never had any prior competitive experience to Genshin Ranked, but this is still something that's going to be a very good experience for her. I mean, she's dedicated onto that C6 Shao and C2 Lini, but I do want to point out that the Shao we're not going to be seeing too much of, unfortunately. But yeah, definitely has a lot of that FaceTime with the Arlecchino. I think ever since Season 2, those numbers are probably going to be looking up, and we probably will see her on that Arle for this match. Then moving on to Babylon, the Hydro main, really anchoring down Pixel's team composition. A very signature Novelette and Yolan, which honestly sets records in casual queuing. She has played since April 2024, played Genshin since version 1.0, and honestly has also had some small Abyss PvP, but mainly has found her home here in Genshin Ranked. And also, she considers herself a Kokumi main. So I don't know if we're going to see it come out, but if, you see the bans come out towards the Hydros, you start seeing a Pyro check in there, you might see Babylon on Kokumi, so there's that. Puden, a very, very old player from Spiral Abyss. He's been playing ranked since March of 2024 on release, but also has been playing Genshin on release. Most of his experience comes from the Brazilian Spiral Abyss PvP communities, but it's always nice seeing his face around here. Does have very solid performance on that Ganyu, 89%. I mean, like, overall, a lot of these win rates across the board from Pixel Dismissal are quite strong, but more than anything, Puden does carry a lot of the heavy DS. With that being said, I think it's definitely a good time to just, go into a little bit of a coin flip, right, Johnny?
Yeah, so remembering now that the teams are gonna flip a coin, PXL gets to call the coin, and who wins the coin flip gets to decide the team for the first game. Remembering that at halftime, teams will switch, so Team 1 gets to beat Team 2, and Team 2 gets to beat Team 1. So looks like Pixel chose heads for their coin flip, so let's see the coin flip result. Looks like the coin flip tails, so TGT gets to pick their first team, remembering that this gives them access to their first pick, locking the first character, the first boss, and the first ban of the match. But the information about their runs is going to Pixel Dismissal.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy seeing that TGT out of all teams decide to go with GeoCube for that first check. Not very often
Yeah.
we see
A
that.
very
Straight up.
unconventional boss straight up as a first boss in the finals. That is very interesting.
Yeah,
Almost like
first
unheard of.
boss. No questions asked, just dropping it all on the table.
But I mean, like, Pixel Dismissal, I think they're also a little stunned just as much as we are, trying to figure out what to do for a counter pick. I don't know, maybe they might just go with a safe check, something that they already know in practice. Gold Flame, very solid choice, I guess, to knock out some pyro options.
Damage checks coming in as they have for all of the previous elimination matches. So nothing
like,
weird there.
The funny thing is that, like, if you think about it, both of these teams, like, they're so DPS oriented. I think this match could honestly be over in like under 3 minutes cumulative of gameplay time. I mean, they love their short damage, right? So
Yeah.
I think it's because that both teams are very DPS oriented that they have to start picking these very niche or elemental check bosses to get the upper edge against the other team. As we can see, TGT is bringing out Seahorse, which it definitely sets a very different landscape than what we have seen before.
yeah, I will say that even though like the Seahorse pick from TGT might have been a way to kind of assert dominance and say, oh, we're gonna continue drafting something for Pyro Break Shields, I also want to point out TGT loves their Skirk team. They have some of the greatest front load throughout that Skirk, and I think if for whatever reason Pixel does give it to them, there could be a little bit of a one-sided sweep, but yeah, that's a lot of front load. I imagine the GeoCube pick likely probably drafted for the first Skirk pick. I mean, this entire lineup very heavily like cryo favored, melt favored, right? But I'm pretty sure that front load's definitely going to kill through GeoCube if they've rehearsed it.
Yeah, this draft is also showing that TGT came in with a very solid plan here. They are picking their bosses very quickly and giving Pixel like as little time as they can to think about their picks.
Yeah, they're confident. They know for sure. And there instantly goes out the Nahida ban. Again, targeting one of the higher DPS options that exists for Pixel with, I mean, like Eliza's Nahida, maybe you want to get that one out of the way. Definitely to tamper down on some of the damage that might be coming to.
TGT here with 3 very distinct boss picks, 3 bosses that require certain elements to clear, and Pixel just chose 3 bosses that have no requirement whatsoever besides Gold Flame with a bit of a pyro res.
I find it interesting. Pixel will go into ban the Milani, which is generally, in most situations, a strong choice against TGT. However, I also want to mention TGT only does get 1 pick, and I'm not sure if the first pick Milani is really something that's going to carry all the way through. I mean, in Pixel's position, right, they have the Mav Kazuha if they want to whip that out, right? And that could be a little bit of early frontload cycling as well, if they feel confident in that.
And taking a closer look at these bosses, I think we can agree that any type of melting team comps will have the better edge here. All of these bosses really prioritizing cryo and Pyro application. So these kinds of melt teams, or we would call them Pride team because of the Linegan Bandit origin, would probably be very useful here. So let's see if they are going to head that way, or even actually Marika can be really good here.
I will say that map without the Kazuha doesn't have the same level of front load. I know they went for that Kazuha ban definitely so they could start showing some cryo. But there we go, a Scoffier ban, very tactical selection from Pixel just to ensure that they're not going to get too front loaded just yet. But Bennett is still open and on the table for sure for these teams, as well as Farina. So it really depends if they want to decide like which version of the pyro damage they want. I mean, honestly, if I was in Pixel's position, I'd try to play more for the Bennett. I think like just having cryo damage and melt would really knock out 5 out of 6 here. If you go Hu Tao and go for Vape, likely you're only going to really get 4 out of 6 because of Gold Flame and Swanee together. But I think we'll have to see. And it looks like TGT's committing because I guess they want to give Foster his Hu Tao at some point. That's going to be an interesting decision right there. I think it could still play off in the long term. Again, Hu Tao has a lot of very short damage in those 12 seconds. If you can land it, then hey, you can take it, right? So I guess I do want to point out, like, you know, maybe like I think you could still run. It's just not going to be like the most optimal. I guess if it's strong enough, we'll have to see how that plays out. Pixel decides to lock in the map. They have their ideas for sure. Can't even lie. I think Pyro options all considered, Mav is going to be the best option for this particular boss lineup. Just because, again, they are a little squishy. Mav has that front load, and she'll definitely be able to recycle that energy if they just happen to plan it.
I believe TGT still wants to like try to get the Skirk. If they are able to get Skirk and Ganyu with that C1, they can still get a very scary Skirk team here. But the Mav is, in fact, a very strong character in this pick. I am interested to know... Oh, and the new Valette pick coming in as well. So they have 2 very strong characters on this boss lineup. So I'm definitely interested to see what TGT has to show to compete with this.
Oh, I wonder if TGT will steal Chaska.
Chaska's steal here would definitely be interesting.
Yeah, there's still Chaska Arlecchino, or maybe even Bennett Chaska here. It still works. We've seen that happen in some of the previous matches.
Chaska Hypercarry can definitely carry the game if you don't expect it, but it looks like they're picking the Ganyu first. I'm interested to know if they want to use this third pick to get a Bennett, maybe another support here, and maybe pivot into another team, or just get the Skirk and use the team I was mentioning before. Oh, and they get the Skirk with the C1 Ganyu. This team could prove fatal if Pixel don't expect it. I think maybe instead of the Nuvalet, getting a Ganyu, maybe counterpick could be better, but they are giving the Nuvalet to a Farina, which is also very dangerous.
Yeah, I wanted to mention that, like, you know, you knock out Nuvalet, Kazuha, Nuvalet, Farina now, so Pixel's gonna have to come up with some very interesting counterpick right here. I mean, you're basically running low on supports. If anything, right now, you just gotta switch to that Bennett and find a way to pivot, right? But in terms of the crowd DPS, they don't have many options, but they lock in the Shalonin anyways. I guess confident enough that maybe that Babylon's Novelette has the damage to carry them through. It'll get them through. I think definitely it should still be enough to get through at least 4 of these. But I have a pretty good feeling that Pixel's going to need to swap to an Electro or something, get that Taser out. I'm not really sure how well the Mav team's going to fare into something like Gold Flame without that.
Well, they do get the ban here, and they get the first pick after bans, so they could just try to deny something from TGT, or maybe try to build a bit more on expansibility for other bosses here.
Yeah, and the ban's quickly traded.
Yeah, okay.
Bennett for Chaska.
I'm curious about the Bennett ban because Pixel getting the first pick in the second half of the draft, they do get a opportunity to grab Bennett. So I wonder if they have something cooking up here, perhaps a surprise character coming up. And also, yeah, Veressa is open. That gives them a overload team.
Yeah, I think Veressa, if anything, would give them the most flexibility if they do decide to choose it. Ultimately deciding on the double Alejandro, though.
Whoa.
I think TGT definitely putting that Skirk team in there really knocks out melt options for Mav, really knocks out Optimal too. I think so far their focus on the Hydrocentric Pixel roster is kind of what's going to get them through this half. Arlecchino take right there.
Arlecchino is very strong in this boss lineup, and the Veressa as well. 2 very strong characters for this boss lineup here. gives TGT a lot of flexibility with the Farina and the Ganyu.
I honestly have this feeling that I think TGT might not even be playing the Arlecchino Varessa. I don't really see a angle for where they're going to be used. I think if anything, they're just going to run straight Skirk through all 6 bosses.
I believe they probably need like some pyro for Swanee here. So I believe the Arlecchino could be that pyro.
Also possible, yeah. I mean, like, I feel like they might just be confident enough and just play straight through, but here Sitlali comes out from Mav, maybe to try and get a little bit of shred damage, but I don't know, a little bit of melt damage, sorry, but I don't know if that's going to be enough shred.
Sitlali could be good here. It gives them an option for Seahorse and also gives them a cryo option for Swanee. So it's kind of a 2-in-1 character, but it doesn't fit perfectly into any team that they have cooked before.
Unless, hear me out, Mav, Shalon, and Sitlali as a sub for Kazuha. Maybe it's squishy enough to front.
Is this a BLG reference?
I have no idea if this is going to be enough, but Chevreuse coming in.
Oh, and the Chevreuse counter pick.
Just knock it out, and they clock in.
And the Eula
picked in the finals for season 4 in the big 25. Yes,
definitely the Aura farm pick here. That's crazy.
Best cryo option is indeed correct. And boy, I don't know, like just staring at this draft board, fellas, what do you guys have for your predictions on this point? Just purely going off draft alone.
The moment I saw GeoCube, I know that TGT has something up their sleeve, and Eula has to be the answer to that. I think that them picking Eula has to be the character to go against GeoCube. Perhaps they have cooked something with it. I'm excited to see what's happening there. And also keep in mind that Eula being a Claymore character can be used as a way to shatter Swanee. I wonder if they're going to do that, or are they just going to go for Arlecchino for the melt? I'm very excited to see what they're going to cook up. So what do you think?
Okay, hear me out. I think they're gonna try and run the Skirk Farina plus Eula into GeoCube. Just get one nuke off. That's a free boss, right? Because in theory, GeoCube can be very quickly taken down by Eula. I've seen it done under 30 seconds before in World Level 8. It's very possible that Skirk drives enough of that front-loaded damage, and Eula drives enough of that back-loaded damage, and the two just perfectly fuse their damage together to delete the HP bar.
I mean, now that you talk about it, it seems like a very interesting prospect to see Eula used in that manner. Definitely a character that I've never seen played in Ranked before, and I'm very excited to see if they actually use her. If they do manage to get the Eula off, this could be very revolutionary to how we see some bosses in Genshin Ranked, actually.
Yeah, and I just said when I was introducing TGT, Mina has some very good niche characters, and I think they are utilizing that right here as we see her getting onto Eula here. That's probably a huge surprise for Pixel seeing that.
You know, I'm thinking, like, if there was an Electro support that buffed attack that affected all members in the team and not just themselves, I think Eula plus Electro plus Mav would low-key be the perfect complement to each other. You get one big hit in the beginning and one big hit at the end. And I think that's kind of what TGT is going to go for here, so...
Okay, I think they're definitely going to test it out on GeoCube now.
I have to know too. I mean, like, there's no reason for us not to take a look at it. I think even like beyond GeoCube, right? There's definitely a little bit of a shatter into Swanee angle that you guys mentioned earlier. I think it's possible, but I don't know if it's going to be optimal specifically for Swanee though. I think like low-key just having all that cryo is genuinely very, very impactful. But man, what a selection for sure.
Yeah, and also like thinking about freeze teams right here, Skirk, right? It usually doesn't come to our mind that crowd characters like Eula can actually fit in a freeze team like that. We usually think that Eula as a physical character, but we often neglect that she is actually a cryo character. I'm actually pretty surprised about that. So I'm
Doesn't she also
very
like
excited.
shred like 15% cryo on tap E or something? As I know she shreds fizz, but I don't know if I'm mistaken for saying that she also probably shreds cryo at some point. But right now,
yeah,
I don't know if you're watching the top of your screen right now, but here we see Pixel trying to hack and slash her way through Swanee using Novelette. I mean, Sitlali has that Hydra buff, but I don't know if it's enough to shred Swanee. Maybe they just have to play this for ults, sack the boss.
Yeah, let's take a look at that.
It is what it is. Because like,
we
here's
did
the thing,
see
right?
a 400k Mavrika burst in Pixel's side.
Oh my holy, look at
you! Oh my god!
What the goodness! Buster, you can't do that! What the heck is this damage?
That was actually insane. It was very unlucky they didn't win cycle, but
yeah, wow. But I think there's definitely a point to this. I think right
there's
now,
potential.
yeah, I didn't see the white numbers come out, meaning that if Day just ulted a little earlier, the timing could have been absolutely frame perfect.
Yeah.
Just knock that right out of the sky for sure.
Yeah, this is how you see we're in a grand final. Both teams picking Sit, Lolly, and Yola, two characters that aren't really used outside of maybe
this
their
is why
practice sessions.
they're the best of the best, man.
Exactly.
They know what works, they know what doesn't, and you're seeing right now, at least from TGT side, like they're preparing something diabolical just to start this match.
Yeah, this is the match of the best of the best. Both teams have gone through so far to make it to the finals, and in fact, this is the first finals of both teams in their history. And we can also say something like that about Pixel. We see them bringing out Lali along with Marika and Nuvalet. Perhaps that is a cook that we might not have seen coming.
Yeah, and I want to also mention, right, here's the thing as Team 2, you have that advantage to kind of like decide, okay, we can run this, we can sack this, and it's one of the really nice things about playing this Team 2, and I really hope that Pixel kind of uses that advantage to kind of decide what's playable for them and what isn't.
Yeah, so we see both teams here getting energy, getting ready for starting the first game. How do we think this draft is gonna go? Can we look at the bosses individually and just see who we think can win these bosses?
Okay, honestly, I'm probably gonna say it's gonna be at least a 4-2 for TGT. Just that's a lot of front load that you gotta contest with right there. Skirk is a nasty character right now in this patch of rank.
Yeah, starting with GeoCube. If they manage to get the Eola to one-shot GeoCube, and even if they don't, just the amount of break that Eola can do to those pillars, I think solidifies TGT to win that boss at the start.
Yeah, there's just simply no way, at least from what I'm watching right now. I mean, hey, I'm not trying to jinx it, like, there should be no way that TGT doesn't lose that GeoCube. I think, if anything, I think the bosses Pixel's definitely gonna win are ones where, they might have a little more versatility. I do see the 6-0 potential from TGT, but keep in mind a lot of these are still neutral checks. I mean, what is it? I think I want to say
Ruin Serpent is there.
It's
yeah,
theoretically still playable for sure.
And
EFG,
yeah, EFG also. Yeah.
Because I know EFG does kind of screw around with Skirk timings a little bit. You're not seeing optimal Skirk team, but it's still a lot of damage. I mean, you have Day flexing into the Ganyu and the Eula, right? So depending on the kind of damage, whether it's that cryo, like cryo sustained or cryo front load, you'll still be seeing it. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I can definitely see like TGT also getting bosses where you require a lot of cryos. So for example, the Seahorse could very well be one of their best bosses here. And also Gold Flame, because one of Pixel's only 2 DPSs is the Mav.
Agreed.
Which may not really work in their favor.
I think for that, they plan to probably bring the Nuvalet, Yelan, Shalot in, but if you're talking mono cryo versus mono hydro, I think it's going to be pretty favored towards that Skirk team. Because here's the thing, right? Skirk doesn't really require energy, right? If anything even goes wrong on one boss for TGT, I think they still have the ability to kind of make up for it. Just right now, like draft-wise, and solely draft-wise, I think there's definitely a very heavy advantage for Team 1.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, as we can see here, the bosses, I think that both teams have really tried to draft to win their own bosses right here. Although I can see that TGT being a threat towards some of Pixel's bosses being...
Hey, the ref is not... I'm sorry, Levy, the ref is having some problems getting to GeoCube.
Kaya auto-targeting, I love it.
Yeah.
Also, ulting on Kaya to freeze the water doesn't work very well.
It's been 5 years and they can't add a teleport to this boss, dude. 5 years. Hoyle, you gate kept level 100 characters behind a $1,000 paywall, and you still won't add one singular teleport to GeoCube. Why? Explain.
That is a problem for another time. But as I was saying, what we should be seeing here is how TGT will be using their team to pick up boss wins at Pixel's bosses, such as like Gold Flame. We see that, well, it being a anti-pyro boss, we see Pixel's lineup here. Their only effective DPS are all on Babylon. So I think that is a boss that can be stolen by TGT. So in my prediction, I would say it will go to a 4-2 in favor of TGT.
playable.
Yeah, that looks accurate. I
Yeah.
also thought they would like at least put the Sitlali on the Nuvalat, so they could at least use a Sitlali, Shalonen, Mav for the Suwani. But I guess the Shalonen gets rid of a lot of the resistance,
True.
so it should be alright.
I will want to mention, I guess because they need every single break that they can, Shalonen and Silali are not very good geo breakers. However, it might be the only option that they have.
We can also see our ref in the bottom right corner using stamina food. Yes.
Yeah,
they're
because
swimming with Arena because the
yeah,
the,
they stole
the minion.
the minions. Yeah. This is definitely not a good day for TGT's ref.
Also, shout out to our refs for today, which are Lin and A Player. They are refing today, and as well as Rion for sheet refing. They will be officiating this match and making sure everything is going according to the rules. So, yeah, let's give some recognition to them.
Yeah, thanks, Lynn. You did a great job swimming in the ice.
Yeah, thanks
Yeah,
to
just doing
Wafer
some
as
fun
well
Olympics.
for doing production on the stream as well.
Wafer, probably our strongest producer, ATM. Big shout out. He's been running most of our matches for us. Yeah, look at this level 80 Eula, currently kitted on Fav. So I wonder what the idea is for this one. Maybe
they do.
It'll just cycle enough.
Yeah, they do want to keep the ult and get ult again for Gold Flame, because it's the next boss.
A little bit of weapon mods. We're not playing Arle as a youngster.
The absolute confidence.
Alright, well, I'm definitely excited to see how this first match starts.
Yep.
Yeah.
We saw a sneak peek of the boss run during prep.
Yeah.
But
And
now
this
we'll
official
see
run
the
is-
actual run.
Yeah, let's see if they can nail it and one face it.
Let's see if they keep their energy as well for the next boss.
Yeah.
At least on the Eula.
Giga excited for this.
Yeah, the Skirk should be able to keep her ult if she just ease on the final pillar phase.
And as the team runs in, they're getting that lineup ready. Early Eula ult right there, you know, just with the shield, trying to make sure that timing comes in. Foster, there's the huge front load. They got it. That's going to be absolutely beautiful Geo-Hypostasis run now. Just, again, making sure everybody can get some break-in. But Eula bringing the hammer down on GeoCube to secure a 21-second time in World Level 9. And that's a great start right there for Touch Grass
Perfect
together.
execution by TGT here.
So now, meanwhile, on the other side, Pixel Dismissal is probably scratching their head, trying to figure out how they are going to contest a 21-second time with a Mav, Nofalet, and Shalonen.
Yeah.
I really don't think they would be the kind of people to just play for instant DNF. I think they at least try to make a solid effort at clearing the boss, right? But man, that's
I was just about to say that because they are Team 2, they get the opportunity to see TGT's run right here and to decide if they are going to 1 second DNF it.
They might
So
actually
let's
1
see-
second DNF it, but I'm kind of curious. Maybe they're just running their brains a little bit. And I guess they do want to actually try. Oh, okay. So they did make a pretty solid attempt for sure. But I think for what it's worth, just a vape and not a melt might not be enough for GeoCube, unfortunately. So they're definitely going to go ahead, play for their energy, try and get those numbers racked back up. And we have a pretty solid win to start off the match right here for Touchgrass together. But man, yeah, definitely was a spectacle to witness that one for sure. Not really someone who sees Eula played a lot, but hey, we knew it was a thing. We knew it was a possibility a very long time ago, but it's really funny to see this get pulled off in the finals match.
I don't think anyone could have predicted that the Eula would be such a strong pick in this boss lineup.
Yeah, but maybe they're onto something.
Yeah, it was really just TGT's creativity during practice to make this work in a real game.
Yeah, I think if anything, my key takeaway from this is that I needed to level my level 1 Eula that's been sitting in the closet for the last 2 years.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
if I
you
use
may not know
Fav,
if they will come
maybe
in
my
handy.
Eula works.
Yeah, just a matter of time right now before Babylon and Kiki get their ults back, and there we go, going for a full set DNF. Decided not to heal back any of the HP, but hey, playing conservative, sometimes best thing you can ask for. First green flag going over to Touchgrass together. So
And now
Yeah.
we move on to the Gold Flame, a really squishy boss that is often used as an anti-pyro. So we also see TGT bringing out 2 cryo DPSs that can also get a good result here if they have a good enough front load. And oh,
And
here they go.
there's your big headed damage. There now with the Skirk ult coming in, I think we
Oh,
might actually
more
see a
than
record-setting
halfway.
time right here. Foster takes a little bit of a hit, but that's not going to be too much to phase them. They're just going to power right on through it and take out the gold flame in 15 seconds.
Oh,
So
that's
phenomenal work
beautiful.
from
Yep.
them.
15 seconds.
Yeah, that C1 Ganyu really coming in clutch right there. I mean, now you got one of those fun hybrid like DPS buffers. It's fun because like here's the thing about those shred constellations or those shred buffs. On their own, when you're the solo DPS, it might be a little bit of a help, but where it really turns the tides is when you start having like the double DPS teams where one of them shreds and all of a sudden the whole team does twice as much damage. You're really seeing that come out right there for TGT.
Yeah, definitely. You see this con on a 1.2 character on Ganyu. The C1 is not very useful by itself, but here in Ranked it just gets a new light. Especially with the Skirk that recently came out, this is proving to be like one of the best constellations from
Oh, yeah,
any
absolutely.
1.x character. Okay, so
Yeah.
definitely the second boss was definitely like a repeat of the first, right? So they have the Mono Cryo, really like probably the best front-loaded damage team in Ranked right now, and they just took 2 bosses easily just with that team.
Yep, and we're gonna watch that here again, probably on Seahorse as well. Fun thing about Seahorse is it has all this beautiful prep time, so Foster just has to just get in position real quick before opening up the Abyss and unleashing that onslaught of cryo hits right there, and it's gonna definitely tear through the shield for sure, not even a question. C1 Ganyu day shot misses, but that's not really gonna be a problem. They do knock Seahorse straight out of the air, so even though it's not the most optimal time, they are on a little bit of downtime right now, but they still should be able to try and secure a kill on this boss, although they are struggling a little bit. Day gets off a few nice blooms that secure the boss for a kill at 30 seconds.
Loads of cryo damage rolling in from TGT's side. Let's see if Pixel has what it takes. Are they going for math here? I think Eliza might want to do that, seeing that TGT got a 30 seconds over there. It might not be the fastest time, but it's definitely contemptible.
Contestable, yeah, for sure.
Contestable,
I
yeah.
think with what is it? With this team in particular, I think it has a pretty solid chance at beating a 30-second Seahorse time. I mean, for what it's worth, you got map for big amounts of pyro. I mean, like, it's the perfect rainbow to take on an Electro Shield, despite the fact that, you know, maybe Neuvillette might not be the most optimal decision here. It's still pretty strong when you consider that Sitlali happens to give a bit of a buff. But so far, it's not a good first opener. This is going to cause the team a little bit of distress right now because they are going to have to throw their ults and start moving around this boss to try and get the shield out of the way because they are getting sapped and sapped away. Eliza into the red, same with Kiki as well, and they might have to try and sit a little more passively. Mav barely
Mav
still in the fight. I think
died.
Mav is down now.
Mav
And unfortunately, with that terrible, unfortunate RNG coming from Seahorse, that's going to really put Pixel at a disadvantage for the rest of these matches. I mean, now here you just have to hope that Neuvillette's going to be able to tank, heal, and get away. Kiki throws a few more cryo autos out, still wants to play to finish the boss, and they will, knocking that out in 47 seconds.
It was unfortunate that Pixel Dismissal got the ground slam from the Seahorse. That gives that brings a lot of DOT aura in on the ground, which can be really deadly if you stay on it for too long. Unfortunately, that happened and costed Marika her life.
Yeah, I mean, like, Seahorse is a silent killer, right? I mean, you feel like you dash that, you iframe that first initial hit, but that lingering damage for sure is just going to be a problem for teams that don't have a healer, and in this case, not having that Shalonen up really made it difficult right there for Pixel to try and play through, so that's going to be really unfortunate.
The Mav ult should not be a problem though, because they do have the Shalon, and the Shalon can just battery Mav really quickly. But yeah, losing Mav there just loses them the third boss, and the mental hit from that can be detrimental to the rest of their boss runs. Okay, so they're going with the same team on this third boss. The Ganyu ult is a little bit far off from the Serpent.
Yeah, a little unfortunate, but
yeah.
they're still able to definitely do a lot of that damage, and now with over 80% of the damage dealt to Ruin Serpent, they probably kill this right here on the come up.
Oh,
Edged just a
that
little bit,
was-
but
so
managed to
close.
find that hit right there
That
from
was
Ganyu.
a crazy edge on the Serpent. But yeah,
Yeah.
the Ganyu ult missing here was actually very sad because they could have just one-cycled the boss here if they had
Yeah,
the Cryo Res shred.
that could have been the determining factor for TGT to get a closer time. Even though Eliza does not have a Mavrika burst, I'm sure that Shilonen can make up for it. Though we see Nuvalet getting a later auto charge, that might be a slight mistake from Babylon.
Yeah, a little
So
bit of
that
a
makes me
misposition
struggle here.
right there without the pre-charge, and you can just tell from pure DPS alone, this is not going to be able to really match pace. I think right now, if you're a Pixel, you're probably thinking, like, what is your best angle to play from behind? You know, like, what option do you think you're going to win most strongly? And for what it's worth, I think low-key, they might just go ahead and start backing off right here. Mavuika already out with the full ults, I think, and then should be Babylon coming out as well for the Novalet ult. It's going to have to be really interesting now because they have to decide, right? They're playing into Swanee for next boss. You're going to put Kiki on Silali, but then what do you put your next teammate on is a real question.
Yeah, because there's two Hydro characters there, so you're just choosing between two characters that the Swanee has high resistance to. And the Shilonen is not enough to take down all of the resistance of the Swanee, so I think that it's just gonna be a one-sided DPS check on the Mavuika, which, when compared to a Skirk plus a Ganyu, or the Eula that we are seeing now on TGT's right side.
It looks like they're going for it. They decided they don't need the Ganyu, and I think they'd rather just go for Shatter.
Yeah.
And honestly, for what it's worth, could be the right decision. I have this really strong feeling that
As I have
Eula is
predicted,
the
let's
best
see
option.
let's
in
see
this.
how it fares. Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah. And Foster
This
decides to
is the
open up,
first
goes
time we
into a
see
little bit of
Eula being played on Swanee.
this might be, but it certainly might not be the last. The way that these
and
guys are
the
setting the
damage.
pace.
The damage right at
Day
the start was
is-
so high, Swanee already below 50% HP, and the damage stopped for a little bit.
There's
because
your
of the compound
shatter right there.
Skirk. The
Skirk on
shatter
a little bit of
gets
downtime,
through.
but should be able to come back up if she manages to find it. She will drive that nail in the
Skirk
coffin right here.
will come back up, and okay,
Soon.
we are not seeing it.
Soon.
Seems like the
They're
Skirk
thinking.
is
They're thinking.
probably.
Oh,
Yeah,
there it
I
is.
would
There's
say
the
that the
knockout.
Skirk was
35
trying
seconds.
to save Volt for next boss, though.
Yeah, it looks like they ultimately made the decision to just go ahead and kill it right there at the end after, was it, fiddling around a little bit with Skirk.
It's a 35-second clear for TGT.
Yeah, which honestly is relatively beatable with most other teams. However, I do want to mention, again, they are down the leg a little bit because of the Nuvalet choice right here into this lineup.
Yeah, and here comes another problem for Pixel's side. Swanee has really high resistance against Hydro characters, so most of the damage will be from Mavrika her alone. So Nuvalet's role here is basically trying to support and do as much Hydro application as possible so that Mav can at least hit her vapes and get as much damage onto it as possible. And they are doing it just so well here.
I think that's possible. For what it's
Yeah.
worth, now we're seeing the freeze come out. This should be a little bit of a knockout.
Indeed, and
Mav
then
has Cryo here,
Oh,
and
and
now
the
hit for
ult here.
359. Is this going to be
They have to
Pixel's
do it.
first
Just a few
win?
seconds.
They might be able to secure this
32,
boss, but
33,
unfortunately
34,
just by
35,
a few
and
seconds.
they lose the boss on 1 second difference from TGT.
Man, 5-0 TGT right now.
That
Definitely
is
would like the
unfortunate
lead
and
to be
so hard
holding.
to see.
Yeah, that was very unfortunate. It feels like just a little bit of optimizing in the run and they could have gotten the boss away. But unfortunately it didn't happen and TGT gets to a 5-0 with enough energy on the Skirk to maybe one-shot this boss here.
Yeah,
They
it's
are
really
waiting
hard
for the
to
laser.
one cycle this, but they do have like the long phase right now. Again, Skirk is not really in the greatest position right now because she does have a little bit of downtime.
Oh,
And
the
Foster is
Skirk
actually
died.
out, which means that it's up to Day to go ahead and clutch this up, but it's not a lot of HP left for the boss. So Day going at it with the N1s, and Mina trying to get a few of those Crabaletta hits off with the Farina. Not really a great position to be. Somebody takes a pretty big hit back there. I think it's Day, but he's still in the fight, still wants to commit to this win, and he's going to finish it with the 70k that he's hitting for the Ganyu Blooms. Mina takes a tank, but that is okay.
43
leaves a
seconds
chance
later on
open for
EFG.
Pixel to steal
Yeah.
this boss.
This
That's-
is definitely the biggest chance Pixel have had since the beginning of the game.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Now
they
they have
better play this
a
right.
full ult as well too, because now you got the Mavuika, Mavel, and you got Nov ult. I think this is going to be some pretty solid DPS right there to contest a 43-second time.
Yeah, they absolutely need this win because losing 6-0 and losing 5-1 is such a big difference. Because the impact of the first boss in game 2, if you are on a 6-0 deficit, is so much larger than if you're on 5-1.
Exactly, and I
So-
think we're about to witness peak Pixel dismissal right here as they pull up this team comp. Beautifully framed Mavel coming from Eliza, and that is going to be a nice bit of front load damage right now as Babylon sustains it through into the next phase. And as they go into the timer, they have, 30 seconds to beat this, and I think it's definitely playable. Running the donuts in circles against the big donut, and I think Mav should be able to take this away with that ultimate right there. Beautiful last hit from
Cleans it
Eliza.
up.
Brings the half into a 1-5 situation for Pixel dismissal.
And that gives some hope for Pixel as we move on to the second half.
Yeah,
Indeed.
so definitely TGT proving here that they have tried playing the Skirk in every possible combination, bringing in a surprise pick, that Eula that surprised everyone, and I think even surprised Pixel themselves, throwing them a bit off their game here. But yeah, that's just what happens when you put a lot of front-loaded bosses and Skirk in the same sentence. So yeah, Cuddles, what do you think about this first game?
I mean, the way I'm seeing this right now, hey man, I've seen it before. 1-5 can go a long way, but it's going to require some serious draft adaptation coming from Pixel dismissal side. I mean, I want you to think about this, right? TGT, they're very DPS centric more than they are support centric, which I think a lot of teams love to consider banning out supports during their drafting half, right? But from what I'm seeing, Pixel dismissal is really going to have to think about how to knock out DPS champs specifically. I mean, a ban on Milani is good, right? But simply banning a Skullfier isn't enough. You just need to take the whole baby out and the bathwater. You cannot leave Skirk in this you cannot leave Skirk in the draft if you're playing against TGT, right? Same way how leaving Hu Tao can be devastating. It was just that this draft in particular happened to definitely favor the Skirk lineup. So at least that's my personal 2 cents on it, and I think definitely that's how you're gonna turn around a play from behind.
Yeah, I think this is also the result of a change of strategy from TGT side. They usually like to play DPS bosses, as we all know, and they swap it out and they come here giving us GeoCube, Swanee, these kinds of different niche bosses, and they have figured out the way to use Eula against them, having that trust in Eula's ability to do well in these bosses, and it really worked out here. And also I want to take a note at the Kazuha ban in the first part of banning. Giving Pixel Kazuha in this situation would give Pixel dismissal a huge boost in both damage and time. And Kazuha is not a very typical character for TGT to ban as Team 1, as we have seen from the data we gathered before. So I think this kind of change of strategy brings a different side of TGT to us and reflects their ever-changing mindset.
Okay, so I want to make a question here then to Cuddles. You were talking a lot about the bans and about the Escoffier ban, and as you said, taking away the bathwater from the baby, right? So what would your bans be in the place of Pixel?
I think maybe it's just 2020 hindsight, it's my personal bias because I've seen the match play out, but I'd honestly give Foster the Hu Tao in this. Very rare for me to say that, but I don't know if you can really front load GeoCube and Gold Flame if you're playing Hu Tao the same way that you're playing the Skirk team. So very rare moment I would not have banned Hu Tao, but I think for what it's worth, Skirk is just way, way too strong into this entire lineup.
No, they banned the Mualani, not the Hu Tao.
Yeah, exactly. I think even a Milani ban would have been very strong for. I think, honestly, maybe give him Milani. Maybe because here's the thing, right? Milani can't one cycle Seahorse, can't one cycle Swanee, right? So even if you just banned out Skirk or banned out ban out Skirk and give them Milani, that could have been really strong as well, right? So I think maybe it just comes down to the fact that you gotta start targeting DPSs when you play against TGT.
Yeah, definitely. Instead of doing like a half ban on that Escoffier, just taking out the option to play Skirk altogether.
Yeah, I want to point something else too. Like TGT, they're the ones who play for the support bans. They know that Pixel is strong with those wide rosters. Knocking out the Nahida, knocking out the Kazuha, those really take out your very, very strong teams. So I'm not entirely surprised that TGT drafted as well as they did. They had every window available to them and they really did run away with it. So it's gonna, again, now the side's gonna change a little bit because TGT having both the information advantage and the 1-2 advantage on their half of their draft. We'll have to see what Pixel's gonna have to do when they change their mindset like that.
Yeah, also, I want to ask everyone, how do we feel about the Nuvalet second pick? Because in my head, at least in this boss lineup, I think there were much more valuable picks you could get instead of the Nuvalet.
Yeah, that's a really good insight. At that moment, well, obviously, Bennett was open. I think they could have picked Bennett over Nuvalet to give them at least a pride team that they can contest with on so many of the other bosses. I think that might be the fumble that costed Pixel the first half. Though in the second half, which we are about to start in the few seconds or minutes, what do you think Pixel have to do in order to perhaps reverse what they have, reverse the situation?
Yeah, so
the DPS.
Yeah, because going into a 5-1 deficit is just like, you can't really draft very specific bosses here, because if you draft to win 3 bosses and you end up losing the other 3, you just end up losing the game, right? So I think that for Pixel to turn this around, they need to draft very neutral bosses and then just get a very, very strong team to beat out TGT. But I don't know, their strategies could be completely different. Okay, the Pep first pick here.
Okay. I think they might be pulling a little bit of that C2 Kazuha right there. Or like, Taser, something big AoE grouping. Nuvalet would definitely have the advantage in this one for sure, and I think Team 1 knows that. Right, Pixel, very, very heavy-handed with their use of Hydro, and I wouldn't be surprised if APEP is one of the bosses that loves being taken down by that.
Yeah, we're looking at a Nuvalet, Arlecchino, Kazuha, very strong characters on a path.
Oh,
Cryovine coming in, TGT forcing those damage checks here. And
it looks like Pixel will still fire back with the Weenet anyways.
Pixel, yeah.
This is really interesting because like
drafting very quickly.
I'm just thinking like from TGT's perspective, right? Like I think they're just going for the Skirk deny at this point, right? But then I have to wonder, like Skirk is such a strong option for TGT. I'm surprised they didn't end up leaving it open to begin with. Instead they pull out the Legacy Golem. Definitely a decision right there, but maybe we might see some Bennett Overload teams get played. See the Chevros come out, Clarin, Claressa. Not too surprised that TGT could be able to drop that.
They really want to go all over the place with the boss picks, knowing they only have to win 2 of those to win the match. So let's see how Pixel responds to this Golem pick. They were drafting very fast up to now, but I think the Golem just made them rethink their third boss pick, as they do get the Terror Shroom here. So definitely very anti-Dendro boss list here. I don't think anyone wants to play Nahida into this.
Well, because here's the thing, especially Pixel, right? You're down 1 to 5. Playing a Dendro team would basically cost them the game at this point, because APEP and Terrashroom just both being Dendro counters. This sets up a really good macro opportunity right here for TGT, because they know that they're going to be able to win 2 if they're able to just decide on which ones those are.
A last boss pick coming in, and Animo Cube, another damage check. Just burst checks altogether coming in from TGT.
It's kind of funny that Animal Cube is one of Pixel's signature bosses.
What are you? Okay, guys, what are you smelling right now from TGT? I don't know what's in the kitchen, but like
Overload.
Mav is so chilled here.
But Mav with maybe like Mav better for us. I don't even know if that's a real team or not. But like, I could see the overload.
Yeah, we're talking about Cryovine and Animo Cube here. Those bosses don't really require like a full team, as long as you can just burst those down in time.
Yeah,
Oh, and the
Milani
Milani
knockout
one.
early
Yeah.
is kind of a really strong decision, but we have to figure out what they're gonna do for the rest. Up to the choice now: do they leave Skirk or do they leave Hu Tao?
Arena
I think
ban coming in
maybe
from-
leaving Hu Tao might be the best option actually. Now that Farina's out, you know, just I
Yeah.
think if they leave Skirk on the table, it could be a really big issue. But yeah,
The
definitely-
possibility of Team 1 getting Farina is such a nightmare because Farina just has so many teammates and supports that she can sub into, that if Farina bans Team 2 is definitely a good choice, no matter what.
I mean,
What do we see
Chat
Pixel
is-
first picking here? Because there's still the Nuvalad is open, there's still a Bennett open, the Arlecchino is still
Ooh.
very good here.
Wait.
The Mav ban coming in from Pixel. Okay.
Yeah, they just straight up said no. So I think that's really because here's
a
the
very
thing.
justified ban here.
Well, I want to point out TGT still has the option of like Skirk, Ganyu, Escoffier, right? Run that triple cryo. It's not the greatest, but it'll definitely get them through two of the bosses that would need to win, especially Animo Cube at the very end for TGT to just seal the deal.
Yeah, I can see a lot of strong picks here surviving. There's still a Bennett. The Arlecchino could be very strong on this boss lineup. The Nuvalad getting banned from TGT was going to be the next character I was going to say.
Very good
So,
takeout, honestly.
yeah,
Because
taking
I mean,
away
like
one of-
Kazuha and Nuvalet together is just a strong combo of both those options.
Taking away one of Pixel's favorite characters to play. So
Yeah, and that also leaves both Bennett and Arlecchino up for grabs for both of these teams, and it's now time for Pixel to think about which character should they first pick for them to get a better result as the draft goes on.
It's a tough call.
It looks
And
like it's
Pixel
gonna
decides
be
to settle on the Arlecchino first.
Arlecchino.
Good AoE
Very,
for
very
APEP,
strong
and then
pick
will
here.
scale towards the end towards Animo Cube.
Yeah.
So that's a possibility I could see for sure. TGT now has to make a decision whether or not they're going to give up Bennett, which at this point they wouldn't, deciding to
do
go for
get the
that
Bennett.
insta-lock instead.
Maybe
Definitely.
smelling a little Varesa's second pick here.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that they're out of Mav, right? But they still have the Varesa for that overload, which will definitely work their way through two of these bosses for sure. How does Pixel
Yep.
fire back? How do they
Yeah.
shut down this
Smelling
Bennett
a
overload?
C2 Kazuha here. Coming in.
the remaining Pyro DPS is probably
But
Linny,
Shasta-
but we know that
Shasta's always
Pixel
open.
does not have a C0 Linny. Their only Linny is a C2 Linny on Kiki.
But what they hear me out. They could go the Linny Kazuha. Linny Kazuha is still a playable option, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. I feel like yeah. But they're
I
giving
think-
the Chaska away to TGT. Bandit Varesa Chaska is also a very strong comp.
Yeah.
Well, at this point, Pixel doesn't have an option. I mean, I think for what it's worth, that Mono Pyro might just be the thing that they need to start getting their momentum going.
Yeah.
And remember, Arlie can scale too. So I could see another Electro option being coming out maybe on the 4-5. Somebody's going to have to pick Chevreuse for Golem on Pixel at some point. Because here's the thing, right? TGT, they have the Bennett for us option. If they want to take Chevy now, they have to do it on their pick 3, which could leave a lot more options open. Pixel opting
Oh, and
instead to play
Milan.
Vape instead of their Mono Pyro. Maybe they believe it's
Yeah.
stronger. We'll have to just see.
Sarah does
That
have a
movement-
very good Yolanda that she uses a lot in casual matches.
Yeah.
So definitely a comfort
And-
pick for them.
Yeah, TGT firing back by taking the Linny option instead.
Now that leaves some options for TGT. They can go for Gayu for a Perfect Pride, or they can also opt for Nahida teams as well now that they got their hands on Varesa.
Yeah, the world is basically wide open right now for TGT. Now that Pixel doesn't have that same amount of front load. TGT deciding to ban out Skirk, which is a pretty smart option at this point, I'd say. Again, considering Scoffy is still open, so.
If you're not using her, just ban her.
Yeah, but now it's going to come down to Pixel to decide what character is going to be the greatest liability for them. And here's the thing, right? I can see, like, maybe Pixel might want Clorind and Chevy if they're going to play for that in the long term, but right now, that Overload team on TGT side looks really, really solidified.
We can see, yeah, the Chevy ban coming in. Either Chevy or Ganyu would have been perfectly okay bans here, but banning out the Chevreuse being the best support for Overload. The
And
Ganyu
they,
coming
gave up the
instantly from
C1 Ganyu
TGT.
Pride.
Exactly. So they do have Pride.
A really OG team.
Pride, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's really funny. At its core, you're looking at two GenshinRanked Season 1.0 or pre-season teams. You got
Yeah.
your good old Vape, and you got Pride. A rematch for the ages. Now seeing that also TGT versus Pixel is its own rematch. So
Yeah, it brings back the memories. Going back to the basics.
Lini Varessa Chev is not real, according to the French. Pixel probably knows that, and they're gonna instead lock the Shalom in for safety. Not a bad choice, especially considering some of these bosses might be a little thirsty for the HP, but I mean, at this point in the game, it's 1 to 5. You have to full send it, you either play well or you don't, right? So.
Yeah, TGT definitely already has a team planned out that could win the 2 of the bosses. So I'm interested to see what they're gonna use their last picks for.
You know, pick 5 coming around the corner right now for Pixel as they decide to lock in the Navia.
Ooh.
Either I am about to witness the birth of Triple Geo, or this is just a tool in the kit to knock down Legatus Golem.
They have the option of Clorind so that they can secure a taser team, though it's
Maybe we see it on the pick 6. I think it's possible it comes in a little bit later.
yeah, and now naturally TGT have a Nahida team open for them.
If they want it, though, that's a real question. Do they take it?
Yeah.
No. They're
Oh,
they're
Scoffy,
locking
yeah.
in Cryo again. Very,
They're
very
gonna play.
confident in the Scoffy.
Do they have a C2 Ayaka? Because that could be very destructive on at least
don't.
one of these bosses here.
Yeah, I think
They
definitely, if
don't.
anything, the Mono Cryo might be able to take away Animo Cube. We've seen reactionless teams perform exceptionally well on that particular boss. Just really depends right now what TGT is going to decide. They just need to drop the hammer on 2 of these bosses to really win this match. Oh, there it is.
There
His
it is.
comfort pick.
Or
Of
good
course.
old reliable.
But I just don't know what it's going to be played with is the thing. Like maybe Bennett Hutel on Animo Cube. I don't know, man. But
Don't think they really had a valuable pick here. I think they were pretty
don't
much
think so.
set for this boss lineup.
exactly. I mean, you locked in your 2 premier teams and Pixel on their pocket 6. What
Also,
are they going to secure?
Like, Pixel looks to have a very solid APAP team here with the Arlecchino and the Kazuha, 2 very strong characters when phasing the APAP. But as we saw in the third place match today, Ganyu can be so destructive on APAP. So we'll have to see how that works.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Pixel also out of options. I guess they're gonna throw Eliza onto that Kazuha. So it'll just be Kazuha and Nikita. The 2 characters that won unbanned the first half might actually, as Wafer is suggesting, maybe it's a mastery farming, but I don't know. We'll just have to see what they run in practice. Again, I'm pretty sure Pixel has to be very confident in that Vape Load team, or sorry, that Vaporize team to draft it, because in this day and age, Vaporize gets beat out by quite a few selections. We'll just have to go ahead and turn to the screens right here and just figure out what's going on. And from what I can tell, looks like on Foster's side, they are going to go ahead and continue to switch. On Eliza's side, looks like they're bringing in Puden this time on the Navia. His Navia, for whatever reason, is just really strong. Don't ask me why. It just is. There's that.
It's probably the onset difference.
Would not be surprised. But I want to point out it's Navia without Bennett. So I don't know if Shalom and Navia alone is going to be enough to punch through. Just some pretty tough drafting decisions right here for Pixel.
And we also see Hope getting here. getting on here. So yeah, it's really nice to see all of the team's players getting on here, especially this being the finals of the whole season. It's great to have everyone participate and get their time to shine here on this.
And Putin telling us now that he's been forced to play, which is really funny, considering the fact that this might be a big match right here. Wanted to say hello to Leroy. Yeah, welcome to the GenshinRanked Grand Finals for this match. This is going to be a really interesting opportunity to watch Putin play for sure. Very excited, very excited. But yeah, if you guys are new to GenshinRanked, go ahead and join us over at discord.gg/GenshinRanked. We do a lot of fun co-op speedruns, and this right here is going to be the Grand Finals 3 versus 3 Constellations Limited. And I think right now we're just going to try and see which of the two teams is going to piece together something that's a little better than the other. Right, I mean, like, here's the thing, right? Look at that Pride team. It's clearing a little slow on Wien. I mean, like, it's going about at pace for Pride. Oh, nice 128 hit right there coming from Putin, but they're gonna have to, well, I think they might have to work a little bit more together if they're gonna try and beat Pixel as they come out. But yes, welcome everybody. We're excited to have you here on this beautiful Sunday evening. I am your host, Cuddles. Joining me today are Johnny AC and Lemmy. So say hi.
Hello. Hi, everybody. Okay, so two teams focusing different things here on prep. Pixel is definitely trying to get those damage checks down, trying to see if they can phase the Anemo Cube. Meanwhile, TGT seem to be confident they can cycle the Anemo Cube. Either that or they just gave up completely on doing that because they know they can win on other bosses. So they're solidifying some bosses that might need a bit of more, work, like using Pride on Weenut. So
yeah,
I'm definitely seeing it right now that like Pride is like a very like long-term, it's like a very durable team. You know, I think for what it's worth, they're not gonna try and play for any particular boss. They might just, you know, go for it. Big send, continue playing straight through whatever bosses are available. That's probably gonna be what secures the wins for them. I think whenever they're not gonna like try and explain any weaknesses or anything. They're just gonna go for it and see what they get.
Yeah, after all between TGT and winning this finals as 2 bosses out of these 6 right here, and them getting the original Pride team definitely gives them the edge up in some of these DPS bosses, and they are definitely using them here in Weenut. So they are going for the kill.
Oh wow!
And doing the best on dealing damage.
Yeah, no,
132
that's big numbers.
Ganyu. Foster Ganyu is definitely a feat.
That looked a lot more on pace than the previous run they did, but they still weren't able to get the 3rd Ganyu shot before the Serpent went down at the start. I know that's definitely a possibility. Me and my team were trying that the other day, and it's definitely possible to get 3 Ganyu shots at the beginning.
I mean, like, for what it's worth, I think they definitely have the damage to do it. I think just like watching that entire prep phase for sure from TGT's side, like there's a lot of impact right there that I definitely see them making. And now I'm just curious again. They're still doing a little bit of prep right now over on Pixel Dismissal side, but I really do have to wonder, like, what's their plan here for Golem? We're gonna witness that a little bit. Pixel just running a few seconds behind right now in the prep phase, but we will be watching their debut pretty much as they take stage this second half.
Yeah, let's have some predictions on the bosses right here. I think that Pixel definitely has what it takes to get APAP. That is one of the bosses that they are definitely confident with, and yeah, they definitely take it.
Yeah, I agree. Just having that advantage of the Arlecchino AoE and the Kazuha on phasing the APAP is very strong here. TGT, on the other hand, the only characters they really have to phase APAP are literally the Ganyu here. So I definitely think that could be a win for Pixel. Also is gonna depend on how fast they can both clear the first and the second phase. So damage is also gonna matter. Talking about the Cryovine though, Cuddles, what do you think is gonna happen on that boss?
Definitely a free TGT win. I'm not gonna bother contesting that. I think it's just, for what it's worth, the amount of like just single pyro damage that they're gonna do to that front loader is really, really strong. I mean, I know you have Arlecchino Yelan, right? but there's going to be a little bit of issues with break, and break can sometimes be the killer when it comes to these squishier bosses. I mean, we saw it happen once for what is it? We saw it happen to Seahorse. We saw it happen to Swanee. If they're not able to knock out that Pyro Shield on time, Pixel, I mean, it's only just Arlecchino going into it, right? So we'll have to see.
Yeah,
Do you
and
think-
Arlecchino has to take 5 seconds to get full bond there, and in that 5 seconds, a lot can happen there.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that. What are your thoughts on Arlecchino just quick grabbing the bond instead of waiting the 5 seconds? Do you think that's enough bond to clear the boss? Or do you think they just sack the boss to get full bond on Arla and go to the next boss?
I'm seeing a sack.
I think there's a chance for them to to at least kill the boss, as if Arlecchino gets the mark on and then Kazuha swirls Pyro, they can get the Coralvine down immediately. Though damage wise, I'm not sure if immediately getting the bond on Arlie gets enough damage for them to clear it before TGT can clear it with like a Hu Tao, Linny, or the rest of the team.
But now we're going to go ahead and watch Pixel start off their half as well. It looks like they're going to do a very nice dive into the abyssal, or not abyssal, that's what I'm saying. The depths of the mountains here in Sumeru. I think there's some, are they actually going to run Putin? They're going to put Putin on C2 Kazuha, it appears, which is a decision I have not seen before, but if Pixel believes it true, perhaps it might be the most tactical decision for them in this comeback. And now we're getting hit with a stall, but yeah, that's a little unfortunate right now. But as we take a little bit of a moment, or let's just go ahead and discuss like what do we think is going to happen here on this side.
Yeah, I think I don't know if they'll have any problems with damage on the first phase, but that shouldn't be a problem. Their team is very solid. Like, it's definitely not competitive with most burst teams nowadays, but it's still a very solid team. And I think the biggest difference in this boss is really gonna come from phasing.
Yes, and
yeah.
Kazuha and Yolan together with Arlecchino AoE, it's very strong for cycling APEP. I think they'll walk through that second phase super easily, whereas on the other hand, I do think TGT may struggle with that. So I think for sure we should see a green flag come up on Pixel's side, definitely holding us up for a 2-5 to start this half. But we'll have to watch as our ref goes ahead to start the boss, I believe.
Yep, it looks like they're ready and they're going in.
So again, single target damage. I have to see the output because I haven't seen this team before this season. No Kazuha swirl to start from Putin, but I think he is going to go ahead and still grab that regardless. And they do get a nice cleanse, so that way they can apply Hydro for Arlecchino to start vaping hits. Very beautiful damage right there. That's exactly what you want to see.
Very strong.
22nd first half on APEP. And
This is the
now as
time
we
that you
move on
want
to
to
that
get in the
second
first
part.
phase.
Yeah,
Now
definitely
is
gonna be,
where the sim really shines. The Arlecchino bond, infinite bond on Arlecchino, the Kazuha grouping, everything coming together. The Yalan skill also hitting every single enemy.
So the numbers
So it's
stacking
gonna
on
be-
each other is so satisfying to watch.
You just don't get much better than that. This get a little tripped up over there, but it's okay. Putin finds that next E and then happens to get that wave done and over with. And Arlecchino just abusing the fact that she has all that AoE. A little bit mispositioned right here, but they managed to still get a little bit nice hit hydro damage. And that's going to be all they really need to start cycling the boss into the second phase.
Yeah,
here we go.
Now it's just repeat what you did in the first phase.
Yep, and I think
yeah,
Putin does
with
spot the
full
Hydro,
bombs,
decides
so-
to go for that ultimate, and they are going to have that little bit of Hydro infusion so long as he gets cleansed. Eliza has to dive back in and try to secure this kill, and a sub 120! That might be the avenue that Pixel needs. Now the question is TGT going to try and fire back with their Pride team? And whether or not they go down is going to be another interesting question to raise.
I think their best way to deal with it is to just DNF it and save all of these valuable resources in their burst for Cryo Q, because that is the boss that they want to absolutely win.
That's true. I mean, like, by the numbers, TGT could just play this, but no, they still want to commit. It looks like
Let's see.
And yeah, they're going to try and play this through. Saw that Linny pre-stacking right here. Day has no intention of simply giving up, and neither does the rest of TGT. I mean, you can see they're still unloading into their pride damage right now. If they can just get those hits lined up, which they do, Foster managing to find those 100k blooms. APEP unfortunately doesn't stay up for long enough, which is going to be a little unfortunate on the timing, so they are going to be behind by a few seconds right here. But keep in mind, you know, Ganyu has that AoE damage. We could probably see that come into the second phase, although TGT is going to be starting maybe about 8 seconds behind pace. We could see, and maybe it does have the straight damage to clean things up. Hope knocks a few of them out of the way, which is going to be unfortunate for Ganyu as they struggle right there. But Day gets his gun up right there and fires that beautiful shot to set up a melt for Foster.
So unfortunately, Linny being a single target character makes their time fall back a lot in the second phase. We are now almost at 1 minute and they are still halfway there.
Yeah, I think they're actually going to call it right now. If anything, using this particular phase as a little bit safer opportunity. It looks like TGT has decided to pause the rhythm a little bit, and they will withdraw with full ultimates.
Okay, definitely the safer choice coming in from TGT, just saving everything that they have for the next boss, which is one that they are very confident they can win because of those 3 very strong pyro options. The Linny, the Bennett, and the Hu Tao could definitely prove fatal on this next boss.
Yeah, I do want to mention too that what is it? The Arlecchino and the Kazuha do not have ultimates, and neither does Yelan, right? It's going to be a little tricky to try and set up a Vape Swirl if they're going to try and play for that. But for what it's worth, this is a pretty squishy boss. It should go down fast. You might even see a VAR come in. Honestly, who's to say? But I think Pixel right here, if they want to prove that this team has power, it's going to be here. They're going to have to demonstrate the front load that they can carry throughout this cryo line if they're going to play it out.
Honestly, the Arlecchino E and the Kazuha E should just be enough to clear the...
Oh,
okay,
but Kina
so
manages to grab that ultimate, so if he's able to land it right now, that'd be really beautiful. It looks like, oh, they FF.
Oh.
They decided that they wanted to play a little more passive. This is, okay, Pixel's decision right here to give up this boss immediately to just go into the 2-6. I think it's interesting, but for what it's worth, could be really, really good for Arlecchino. Right? You see, she's now on like, what, 160 bond, 135 bond. That should be enough to really start getting them moving. Putin gets tagged a little bit on the way out, but yeah, it looks like they're going to play passive here. No crazy plays, no crazy risks. They just want full-on Arlecchino to get their party started on the next bosses.
Yeah, this is not an easy decision to make because they are gonna give the 6 and 2 over to TGT. So any boss they lose now is just game over for them. So definitely not an easy decision to make, especially when you're on the spot, when you're the one playing the game. But very brave Vipixel.
I also want to point out right here, as Team 2, seeing that Team 1 already decided to FF their boss early without even wanting to finish it, not only can TGT still play through the boss, but they can take their time getting those ultimates up for that next half as well. So Day and Hope, especially because they might flex Foster back and forth towards Ganyu, right? I have a feeling that they're going to use that definitely as a little bit of way to save their momentum and save their energy. But yeah, there's the few big booms right now, and they're not going to try and do anything too crazy. Not anything too aggressive. They just want to make sure they can get ultimates back up, especially for Bennett.
And the Bennett does get the ult back. They have full ults for next boss.
The 2 longest cryovines we've seen in a bracket match, but for good reason. For good cause for both teams.
Yeah.
And that takes this match into a match point. 1 boss remains for TGT to win the whole season. Pixel has to... They have to utilize Arlecchino's bond to avalanche their damage. They have to maintain perfect gameplay, and it's up to this.
I think it's doable. I mean, hey, full bond Arle is always a menace. And if they do a little bit of a funny stall at the beginning for Weena just to draw a little bit of that aggro at the 97% line, like that could be pretty big hit that we're going to be witnessing.
Yeah.
But here we go. I mean, they're getting their prep sorted positions in place. And I think it's doable. I mean, I don't want to make any conclusions just yet, but full bond Arle, again, an untapped menace waiting to show her wings.
Yeah, definitely. Arla is just the tool. The Bond is the real menace here.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I've seen full Bond Arla do things that shouldn't be possible in this game, so...
The Bond is my brush, and the HP
Yeah.
bar is my canvas.
Exactly. Okay, so definitely a bit of stall from Pixel side here. Can this Arlecchino on full Bond keep cooking these bosses all the way into overtime?
I think she
It's
will.
definitely gonna come down to that.
I wonder what they're waiting for. Nope, they decided to take their first steps into the boss. Walking into the greatest fight of their lives right now. Pixel Dismissal in the 2-6 fight against
We do
Touchgrass
see-
together. Puden takes a
Yeah.
pretty big hit,
Oh.
but it doesn't matter. He managed to get his Hydro ult off, and that's might just be enough damage for them to start cycling at Weenut. They don't have the range advantage. Pride Team does, but it doesn't matter. It's full Bond Arlecchino. They're going to do damage. They're going to do hits. It's going to be a really close call right now. Can they find the boss? What are they going to do? Pixel decides to go ahead and take a 27-second time.
Yeah, that looks
That is
a
competition
very
right
solid
here.
time, yeah.
Now, the thing is, they're going against a monster Pride team right here. Day and
EO
Hope
reliable.
together, bringing a ton
EO
of pyro into
reliable.
this fight. And this is
In case
this
if you
is
don't know,
a chance.
the Pride team comes from LGBT, the lineage Ganyu bandit team.
And we're
It's-
about to watch it in
Yep,
full
it's
display.
been stuck here for all the seasons.
Okay, so
We love
we
this
see
team.
the team moving
There it
in.
is.
Bennett ulting
And early
right
Bennett
off the
ult
bat.
coming in from Hope. It looks like
Okay,
they have their
two shots
positioning
from the
down.
Ganyu. The third shot
And
almost comes
they're
in.
going to
Gets
go
the
for
first
it.
hit, but not the bloom.
That's one. That's two. That's three. And can
Oh,
Day
and the
barely
blooms
manages
are
the fourth.
missing.
But this is not
Oh.
the pacing they want. Day and Hope throwing their ultimates down onto the field. They realize that this is not the situation they were asking for. And now I think at this point, it's best that they try to play for their ultimates, play for that little bit of damage that they're able to squeeze out. But that's going to be a 3-6 win from Pixel. They're going to be able to walk away and move on to the next boss. I think right now, Day, Hope, two of them together are going to try and get some energy back. And Hope manages to find it.
Yeah,
Pixel lives to see another boss.
this was definitely
And
an
they got
issue
double
with the
shield for it.
Ganyu. The Ganyu missed a lot of blooms and a lot of arrows in the middle. So that could have been a lot faster, but I feel like three arrows at least did not hit the bloom damage on Ganyu. Okay, but this could be a very big turning point in this match, because we are seeing Arlecchino still with half bond, but the rest of the team is a Shalonen and the Navia. And on the side of TGT, we do have the Overload team with the Varessa and the Chevreuse.
I think the Varessa should, or was it the Varessa Bennett is
Oh, yeah,
still,
the Bennett,
very
yeah.
contestable. But I mean, I haven't seen Putin's Navia played in a really long time, so the fact that he's bringing this one out, I don't know if it's a tactical decision or if it's just a blind shot, but we'll have to watch how that plays out.
Yeah, two different reliable teams here for the Golem, Double Geo versus Overload. Let's see
And
who
I'll
wins
walk
this.
in. Eliza goes ahead and tries to get that early bond set up. A nice full ults coming from Putin and from Babylon, getting that geo damage right there to start shredding. And I think that's what they're going to have to hope for, right? They're going to have to ask for straight damage because that's definitely what they need at this particular moment. If they can just get a little bit more of the shield off, yes they do. That's a good break. That's a good damage. And it looks like they're going to be able to shove that geo damage into the golem, and they're going to knock out a beautiful hit. 27-second run from Pixel Dismissal. Now, this is something that's going to get TGT sweating in their shoes.
Oh. It's time for Baressa to show us how she is able to break the shield. She has plunges, she has overload for her, but without a reliable pyro option like Arlecchino or Marika, it falls short
Ooh.
a bit. But let's see
Yeah,
how
a
they do
little
it.
bit of a trip up right there coming from Foster, but that shouldn't be a issue to him. He knows he has overload, he knows he has breaks, and he certainly knows that he's going to have damage. It's just a matter of how fast, how soon that shield is going to go down for TGT. If they're going to be able to knock that out in the 26-second time. This is a big
Oh,
question. Day and Hope both go
Double
down!
kill!
This is a difficult decision for Foster to be in right now. He doesn't have his teammates anymore. He's not going to have that solo, and Foster goes down!
Triple kill. That is not a good sign for TGT right now. Pixel got it in. Pixel showed us how it's done. Done.
Not
And
having
Pixel lives to
Benedal.
fight another day going into this 3-6 half with a squad wipe against TGT. The golem pick certainly not something I was expecting to be in their way, but that could be a decision that sends the game into overtime for sure.
Yeah,
Still,
Pixel now
not
has to
having
be careful of their
Benedal.
HP.
Yeah, and now Putin has to pray that the same fate doesn't happen to him when he faces Terror Shroom right now. Again, hyper-aggressive boss, right? He needs his ultimate to function. That's just the way Kazuha works.
Yeah.
After this, it's going to be an Animo Cube, and honestly, at that point, it becomes a total toss-up with how short the times are.
Without a healer here as well, they have
Yep.
to be extra careful and manage their stamina and their skills well to
Oh, but
not
careful
only
they
iframe
are! They managed to get both a Pyro Swirl, and they happen to get the Hydro ult coming from Kazuha, who is now sitting back and playing safe. And this is going to be the big bulk of the front-loaded damage. Arlecchino does not care and will simply take it away within 18-second time for Pixels. Move towards the comeback. This could be a very easy 5-6 for them. Seeing there's no Bennett ult, seeing there's no Linny ult, it looks like TGT is going to try and play safe.
Pixel is inching the way towards the top, basically reversing their fate.
Yeah, we
very,
can-
very tough decision right now because I think TGT, they're going to try and play for that energy recharge. I think right now the best thing they can do is just try and restore that Lenny and Bennett back up to a functional state. Definitely going to be a bit of a challenge considering this boss likes to swing, but hey, they have to take whatever options they can.
The Arlecchino
okay. I'm
got
going to
the
be
full
honest,
bond
I was not
boss as
expecting
well.
this outcome from this section of the match. Man,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's the finals. The two best teams fight it out,
exactly.
and
That's what we're
it's
here
showing.
for. I'm definitely here for this, and I think TGT definitely taking a little bit of time to breathe to figure out what their situation is going to be on this boss.
The
A
Terror
little bit of a
Shroom
late start on the timer, but
deals a lot of
we're going to go
damage,
ahead
so
anyways. And I
Hey,
think,
the Bennett getting out, not getting heals at the start here.
but here's the thing: Animo Cube's a dot boss, so if Bennett doesn't ult on time for Animo Cube, he could very well just get shredded just like anybody else. They goes
Oh,
down,
the
so there's no
Linny.
Linny ultimate.
Oh, shit.
Foster is now just sitting in the corner wondering what he's about to do. We're looking like we might have a 6-6 half, folks. It's a pretty difficult situation to be in if you're TGT.
Yeah.
And I think Foster
getting
is
healed from the P Amber on the Veresa.
I think if anything, this is a good time for them to think too. You know, I think they just probably keep Foster on field as they're trying to do some decision making. Because what can you really do at this point if you're TGT, right? Your goal is to like not send the match into overtime if you can. But you only have a partial Bennett ult. Your Linny isn't fully set up and fully equipped to deal with the match. Like this is tough if you're TGT. It's looking like it might cycle into overtime, but again, depends on how Pixel does as well, right? So, a very close matchup we're about to witness right here. Because it's really getting down to the wire with these teams. But Foster decides to withdraw, managed to get his full ultimate, and they've decided they're going to move on. Such a beautiful situation to unfold in front of our own eyes. Could this be a repeat of Season 3? I don't know. I'm
Oh
excited
my
to
gosh,
watch.
and we are now in Pixel's home field, the Animal Cube.
Yep.
They know how to
This
play
is-
it, they know how to win it.
Yeah, they've played it before so many times. Both of these teams, honestly. TGT selection, but it just might backfire against them. Seeing that Arlecchino's bond is fully loaded. And here we go. Pixel knows they have everything at their disposal. They even pulled out the
Load up the
shotgun
cannon.
for it. There's one ult. There's 2 big hits, and I think that's going to be a nice cycling time. Just barely under 11 seconds for PXL. Yolan barely
I'm barely
surviving
staying
on the
alive.
tiniest hit of damage, but that's all they need. They're about to close this out. If only they can just find the right angle, the right time, get a frame perfect Navia shotgun. I think that's all they would need to finish this off. And Putin decides to go ahead, cast full ults. The whole team actually casting ults. They decided we're going to win this, and
Boom.
they might. 38
38
seconds.
seconds.
A
Oh
tough
my
time to
gosh.
beat. with a suboptimal Pride team in this existing moment.
Okay, TGT here dropping the Linny completely, knowing they don't have the energy or the HP for the Linny to live here. They are bringing out their Varessa and the Bennett to try to get the most amount of burst damage that they can, try to cycle the cube, because if they can cycle the cube, they might as well just lose it. So it might be worth to just commit to it fully.
Yeah, and I think, hey, Hu Tao stacks on lower damage, right?
Yeah.
So
We do have...
this tangle.
Yeah, we do have a VV Bennett here. A bit of a weird selection of artifacts, but one that makes a lot of sense for this boss.
Oh, it makes
It
so much
definitely
sense
works
right
here.
now as they go into this phase. Whether or not they're going to win it here or go into overtime is a great question. But there's your big hits right there. Is it going to
Here's
be
your
enough
damage
though?
going
The
in.
icing is a little
There.
behind.
Damage.
And they
And it's
don't
not!
get it!
It's just up to Day and Hope right now. Just Day, honestly.
But they gets alive. It's
Does he
today
clutch
to
this?
determine if they are going to win it or not.
There's
This
barely
might be
any
the
time
only
left for
factor
him
that
though.
keeps them alive.
And now as
The
we go into
33,
the final hit,
34, 35, 36,
he has only a few
37,
seconds to win
38,
this, but I don't think it
39,
will. It
and
doesn't invite him in
it's
fast enough, and he
over.
secures the win without securing the win.
We are going to
And-
overtime.
Yeah, so just to remember everyone, since both teams are on 6 points, after the 2 games, we're going to overtime, where each team may pick 3 characters from any draft they want to go against each other on the final boss, the Eon Blight Drake, the most neutral boss in the game. No element checks, nothing here that could stop teams from picking just wherever characters they want.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw the little chat box before they left. Foster's calling for that Skirk play. He wants it so bad, and he's going to get it. It's the perfect opportune time. Full ults, straight damage, nothing else. We are running this to the ground.
So we know TGT is definitely getting the Skirk. What do we think Pixel's getting?
Probably calling for that vape load team. I mean, or not vape load, but the straight vaporized team with the C2 Kazuha. I think that's their strongest chance of any damage that they could possibly get. But it's rough. You're seeing a Season 1 versus a Season 4 team comp right here, and I think it's about to show.
Yeah,
Skirk being the absolute powerhouse that she is.
The only problem I see with that team is that the Arlecchino goes into the boss with no bond whatsoever, so if they don't one cycle, they have to reset bond on Arla, and that does not slide when you're talking about Skirk and the potential one cycle here.
Yeah, it's time to see if TGT is able to recover from their losses, or is Pixel going to go for a full reverse sweep in this final match? Oh my gosh, this is exciting. I can't believe this match goes to a overtime. This is the first time it's happened this season. And
The
yeah,
first and only time it's been an overtime match.
it really shows how these two teams are in bringing out their A game. They're doing all the best they can to survive to the final, and they're really doing their best here, bringing out everything they have. And I believe it's time for both teams to lock in their teams, and it looks like TGT is locking in for their Farina, Skirk, and Ganyu team, a really good freeze team with, of course, Foster Skirk being a great damage dealer, and I know Days Ganyu is very good DPS-wise. And it leaves us to see what Pixel has to fight this incredible team. Oh boy.
This is exciting. We are getting the first overtime of elimination this season, and it comes in the grand finals. So we could definitely not ask for a better match to be here.
Yeah, and this is the first time we see how our new way of showing the overtime works. We have the visual of both teams here. We have both refs looking at how their team is going to do their Drake run, and we're going to see it live right here. Two teams, no information about how the other team does, and fight it to the end.
Yep. One last second as we conduct our final checks before going into this.
And as we said before, Pixel is bringing out their reliable Arlecchino Yelan Kazuha team.
I mean, it's probably the most optimal thing they have at the moment, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we really have to see how both of these teams surprise us. These are not very common teams. They are not really staples that we know of. But over the time that they have played with each other, worked with each other, learned different skills and techniques, playing characters as their own, they invented these kind of teams that they bring
Yep.
here today for us to see. It's such a great way to showcase their team's ability and their history and how they do it.
They did everything so well. And here it is, as a synchronized start together. I'm gonna go ahead and just bask in all of their efforts, because now Skirk setup coming in. Beautiful hit from Kazuha, beautiful ult from Kazuha. It's looking like a perfect setup for both teams. You're going head to head with the best of the best. Skirk absolutely unloading for that front load, but the Arlecchino damage is slowly catching up. Can it catch up? I don't think it will, because TGT is going to take away the Season 4 finals.
That is so close, so close. Both teams bringing out their maximum damage, their A game here. TGT coming out as the victor in this final match of Season 4 of Genshin Ranked. Congratulations to TGT for taking the win and get their first win in the history of Ranked. They will be your champion for Season 4, getting 19 seconds in the Drake against Pixel, who got 21 seconds. What a match. What do you think, guys?
I mean, this was just the best of the best playing against each other. We get the first overtime of elimination this season, and God, it was such a good overtime run. The 19-second on the Skirk, running out of uptime at the end, with the Ganyu finishing it off, versus the perfect setup coming in from Pixel, with the Arlecchino getting her bond and just dealing so much damage, catching up to the Skirk at some point, and getting a 21-second run at the end of the day. Very, very strong performance on both teams. Definitely showed why they are here, why they wanted to win, and, well, it just came down to TGT just won the Skirk. It was just a Skirk diff.
Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, I think they had very competitive halves right up into each other, but man, oh man, it did come down to the numbers game, and I think TGT just had that beautiful front loading that they were able to run away with. Absolutely a powerhouse and a force to be reckoned with. Touch Grass together is going to go ahead and be your Season 4 champions. Thank you, everybody, for attending. This is like, wow. It's been an amazing, incredible season so far this summer. I mean, so many different players and teams have been entering and coming and going, and I think it's just been an absolutely wonderful performance to witness here from all sides, from everybody.
Yeah, as the people from both teams get into our VC right now, let's get a quick reveal of our match that we just had. In the first half, we saw TGT getting 5-1 against Pixel. That gives them a really good head start in this match. And the favors really skewed towards TGT. We thought they had a good start and they're going to seal it off. But no, Pixel went ahead and kind of reverse swept them, tying them up 6-6 in the second half, bringing their own A game to this matchup. But at the end, the tie has to be broken by Drake. And at the end, TGT got the upper hand and won the finals. What a match, and oh boy.
Yeah, I think if anything, speaking of TGT, we happen to have one of TGT's big members and one of Pixel's big members too. I think everybody's being invited on stage right now. Day, go ahead and say hi.
Hi everyone.
How are you feeling?
That was a match of all time. I'm glad to have put on the good show for you guys, the good and the bad.
Oh, how are you feeling at the end of it though? Like,
dude,
you said your hands were shaking.
I was shaking because like I thought we had it in the bag, but we kind of team wiped on Golem, and then the other two bosses also didn't go as we planned.
Yeah.
So I knew it all came down to Drake, and it's the start of everything and it's the end of everything.
And what about you, Eliza? How are you feeling after that performance?
I'm really proud of my team, and I'm really happy that we made it this far, and I'm in awe that we were able to like clutch up and not get like really steamrolled after the first half. The first half was like pretty atrocious. We totally fell for like the Muv bait, and we're just like, oh, we should take Moeka here because GeoCube and no, we should not have done that. We should not have done that. Like, I've been practicing Mob a lot, but I got like stage fright and anxiety, and then we made some suboptimal decisions on certain bosses, and it just like, bleh. It was just, it doesn't really look like it spiraled because there weren't a lot of deaths, but it was kind of like spiraling because things kept not going as planned, and I'm definitely thinking about how if we had done what we planned to do as Team 2 and not fallen for the bait, then they wouldn't have gotten the team that they used for overtime. But I am also very happy for TGT as they are good friends of mine, and they totally deserve this win. I mean, come on. They're like the best team this season.
The part I really liked the most was when like everyone's like friends from like different like PvP communities showing up in the comments and Twitch. It just like makes me glad to see. So shout out to all of you guys.
I'm back.
Hi.
Hi, Mina.
Hi, Mina.
Hi, Mina.
How are you feeling about this match?
It was funny to see. Not to play. It was funny because I didn't read the message. When we were in the first game, Peudan told me to skill on Furina so the ref fall to the water. It was funny to read that.
That was very funny to watch from our seat as well. Okay, I have one question for both teams, but we can start with Pixel here. Do you think that the nerves affected you a lot on this match?
Yeah. I didn't even play that well in the second half. Honestly, like I messed up a lot. I was honestly, I was every time I would mess up on a boss because we were going first too. I was like, oh no, this is the one we're gonna lose. Like, cause I messed up on, I was a little late with my Eonic Pep. I messed up on Weena. I totally got knocked on Weena. And then didn't get full bond after. I'm like not our main Arla player, but we didn't put Kiki on Arla because of like the prep time being short. And then Golem I ulted and kind of like did that on purpose and then graded a little bit because we knew we were probably gonna win that with Navia. But like I didn't feel like I even played that well on the second half, even though that was the one where we really clutched up. And then first half was just awful, if I'm being honest. It's just terrible. Just don't, bro. Ugh. Like, I mean, I'm glad I'm getting fired this season, but, like, I should be fired for my Mawika gameplay, you know?
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
At first I thought y'all said something about, like, Fav or something, but then, or it was something about nerves.
No, Fav was the last match.
Yes. I'm very proud of us as a team also. I was very nervous also, like, throughout that whole thing. I messed up so bad on APEP because I literally forgot where it came up from, so I was, like, really scared.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Weena.
Mhm.
And I think from there, I was just like, well, I hope we win. I hope we do, like, good. And we did. We let Bond do what Bond does, and I'm proud that we got to overtime either way.
Yeah, I did not expect that. I was, after the first half, I was just like, it's over, isn't it? It's over. And Trent's like, no, it's okay. It doesn't have to be over. We will make it further.
Yeah, I wanted to say, you guys fought hard on that second half. I mean, like, these times, I would argue that these are some of, like, the best possible times you can get running that team. Like, it is tough to try and play that against Pride, and you guys still managed to really, really make it show.
It's alright for this team. We've done better.
Yeah, we've done really better. Yelan propaganda.
Yeah, no, the Weena was kind of, a little trash. But yeah, no, I'm just happy that we made it this far. I've said that before. I'm really happy. I was like, my brain shut off after the first draft. I think my brain shut off during the first draft, but my brain totally shut off after the first draft, and I was like, it's over. Because we have this thing called I call it the TGT curse, which is that whenever we play TGT, albeit in like a scrim or like in previous seasons, or like one time we like did this practice scrim between us last season just to practice because we're like friends, our teams are friends with each other. We always get absolutely steamrolled. Like, it is atrocious. And we can perform, like, pretty well up against other teams, even or in casual, like, against scrims against other teams. But when it's TGT, they're like my team's Achilles heel. We just get absolutely cooked. And I literally warned Putin of that when he joined our team this season. I was like, so we're going up against TGT, and like, we have this thing called the TGT curse. And he was like, oh no. But after that first half, I was like, it's the curse. It's the TGT curse. It's happening again. But I'm really just glad that it wasn't like a really boring 7-0 finals match, quite honestly, because that would have sucked a lot and it would have been disappointing. So I'm glad we put on a good show.
Last thing, y'all literally played amazing. Like,
yes,
all of you played amazing. I just want to say that y'all did too good. I was like, damn. And the Eula pick. The Eula pick was like,
the Eula pick was so cooking. Oh my god, I lost my mind at that. That was a really, really good GeoCube. Like, I know that's kind of like, it's like, you know, TGT and their cubes. Of course, you got good cube times, but no, GeoCube was really great, and Eula was such a good pick there because we got them. We're like, what are they playing on GeoCube? And I was like, it's Eula, and then Suwani, it's Eula, because your Suwani time was not bad either. And we would have won Suwani, but I got stuck on the boss like 8 times, and it was so bad. But
I want to touch on the Eula pick. Was that a recent discovery, or do you know that all the time?
It was in fact a recent discovery. So we were cooking Song of Broken Pines Chongyun for GeoCube.
Yes.
But then we decided, what if instead of using Chongyun, we just like straight up use Eula. So we tried out Eula, and it was like kind of meh at first, like equal to some of the other teams we had, but we saw the potential, so we were basically doing that all afternoon.
Oh my god,
Eula.
that
It was at first, it was like, our best Eula is Mina's, hands down. Like, her Eula is just the best. Second of all, we have Hope's Eula. We did not expect to put me on Eula, because I am the dumbass who fathered his Song of Broken Pines a long time ago to level up Lauren's weapon for rank.
Yikes. Yeah, I definitely didn't tell you not to do that day.
Yeah. So the thing is, I probably would have been the ideal Eula if I hadn't done that. But yeah, we practiced the entire afternoon with 2 different Eulas and not mine. And then I suddenly had to do it on the spot. But also, I do have to mention that Texans absolutely love GeoCube, so we had to pick it.
Of course.
No, I remembered that. I was literally like, in the chat was like, oh my god, I forgot Texans love GeoCube. That's why y'all picked it.
Oh, we're cooked, because Texans love GeoCube. Oh my god. No, and like, we totally were losing that regardless, because like, none of us are Texan, so like, we just don't get it the way that you guys do. Like, it's not really for us. So honestly, like, we just should have like stepped back and DNF'd it immediately and just like let you guys have it, because like, I'm not even tried, because like, that's your boss. You know what? No Texans on our team. We'll step back.
Hey, I'm not even Texan. I just have like kind of divorced parents.
You have 2 Texans and 1 like almost Texan.
Yeah.
1 TGT. TG Texan.
True. I do find it very funny how we are quite close to each other geographically. The shove ban was great though. We were absolutely planning to use the shove.
Yeah. No, I saw that and we were like, we get rid of her.
We don't want Shove here.
Yeah.
We were like, we're fine with giving Pride because we don't want Shove to absolutely just demolish us. Like, we don't want that.
Yeah, I think the first half of the draft was really like where we messed up. Did you guys intend to try and get us to pick Mauve there? I'm just curious, like, what did you want us to get when you guys took Farina?
We did want to ban Mav. Like, under the we wanted you guys to think that we were gonna first pick her and then ban her. We didn't
it worked. Yeah, it worked. Oh, well, we didn't ban her. We didn't see, that's the problem, is that we didn't want to deal with her either, but then your boss picks made us be like, ooh, Mawika! And we were like playing her earlier today, so I was like, surely I can play Mawika. Not on these bosses, bro. Not on these bosses. And like, we didn't even get a team that was, it's, the problem is like, Mawika can't actually carry this boss lineup as much as we expected her to, and we hadn't really run the team that we planned to run with her enough on these specific bosses as well. And so what we ended up with was like GeoCube. I don't know what to do on GeoCube, honestly. Like, just I don't know. Okay, you got me there. I don't know what to do. We were like, I guess Mawika works. And then Seahorse was just like, yeah, I just think we should have taken like Ganyu Bennett. I don't know why we didn't do that other than just the Mawika show like lineup. So you kind of like you ended up with us making sure you didn't have to deal with her by us picking her ourselves because we got so baited and then also spiraling while playing her. So it was even more effective than perhaps you guys wanted it to be, which is really funny.
Okay, guys,
Yeah.
we're gonna close it up here. I think Lemmy has
We
a
wanted
last
to
question.
play Milani.
Yeah, so
I'm sorry.
I know this is a really historic moment for both teams. I know that this is the first time TGT has gotten into the finals, and for Pixel, this is your third season and your second time coming through to the knockout stage. It is a great feat for both of you, your teams, to come here to the finals. And getting this achievement, what are you all going to do to celebrate?
Oh,
I'm eating a burger.
I don't
That
have
sounds
any
okay.
plans. I was gonna go like hit the casual queue probably and like respond to my roommate I've been ghosting because I was busy. What about you, Day, and the rest of TGT? What are you guys gonna do? Do you guys want a queue?
I am going to make a queue, and then I am going to eat, and I am going to ref that queue, not play it.
Okay.
Cute.
Okay, it's queue time.
Alright.
Let's go.
Can I spill my burger? Can I
Can
spill
I do
my
Sarah
burger?
and Foster?
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Since I think that's enough time for questions for today. We've lost Cuddles, unfortunately, in the midst of the yap. So I'll be the one to closing the stream. I want to thank everyone that participated, both as a player and as a caster or production member. I want to thank, in particular, TGT and Pixel for this wonderful match here. I want to thank also my co-casters, Cuddles and Lemmy. I want to thank the refs, A-Player and Lin, for their availability. I want to thank Rion for doing sheet. And I also want to thank Wafer for doing production here. This has been a very wonderful Genshin Ranked season with a very, very good closing match here. We were all hyped from start to finish and hope to see everyone in Season 5.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. And this wraps up the Season 4 finals match of Genshin Ranked. It's been great. I'm Lemmy,
And I'm Johnny.
and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.